You are listening to the Coins, Currency, and American History podcast, presented by Littleton Coin Company.
Every great civilization leaves behind its ruins, its art, and its heroes. But the story of America can be told through something smaller, something we can hold in our hands. A coin. Coins are the fingerprints of a nation. This is the story of the United States of America. From colonies to social experiment to global economic leader.
Episode 24, Ford and the Driveway Industrial Revolution. At the start of the 20th century, the United States already stood as a powerhouse of factories and production. Yet, for most families, that industrial strength still felt distant. It stayed hidden behind the walls of giant plants in places like Pittsburgh and Detroit. Steel lit up the night sky, and railroads stretched from coast to coast. But the average person rarely touched that kind of power in everyday life. Henry Ford changed everything. He asked one simple question: what if the power of mass production could roll right into the driveway of ordinary Americans? His answer helped reshape how the country worked, spent, and moved. 2 decades earlier, the nation had returned to the gold standard. That move restored confidence in banking and trade. Gold itself didn't create wealth, but it gave people real faith in the dollar. Capital poured into railroads, mines, and factories. Gold coins, especially the $20 double eagles, circulated widely and stood as symbols of that trust. By 1907, the beautiful new St. Gaudens design added real artistic appeal to these pieces. Collectors still prize examples struck at Philadelphia and the branch mints. The building blocks for growth sat in place. What the country needed next was a stronger connection between the wages workers earned and the goods they could actually afford. Ford helped create that connection. Henry Ford was not the first person to build an automobile. Wealthy buyers had already been importing or assembling cars for years. Those early machines ran well and looked refined, yet they carried high price tags. They served mainly as playthings for the fortunate few. Ford looked further ahead. He imagined farmers driving into town, workers reaching their jobs, and families visiting relatives whenever they choose, free from train schedules. He wanted a machine built by the masses and owned by the masses. At the time, that idea struck many people as radical. Ford introduced his Model T in 1908, a year before the United States Mint replaced Indian head cents with new pennies featuring the portrait of Abraham Lincoln. The automobile wasn't sleek or luxurious. Instead, it stood tough, simple, and ready for rough country roads. Owners could repair it with basic tools, and the price put it within reach for many families who dreamed of owning a car. The Model T carried industrial ideas out of the factory and placed them squarely into daily life. For the first time, many Americans could touch and drive the results of true mass production. Ford understood that price would play a key role in his success. It would decide who could buy, so he focused on smarter and more efficient ways to build. He broke the work into specialized steps and examined every motion. And in 1913, he introduced the moving assembly line. The car being built moved past the workers while they stayed in one spot. Assembly time dropped dramatically, and so did the price. Within a few years, the cost of a Model T fell from over $800 down to less than $300. Mass production had opened the door to mass affordability. Lower prices helped a great deal, but Ford took one more important step. In 1914, he raised the typical factory wage to $5 a day. The decision was both practical and brilliant. It attracted motivated workers and ensured the men who built the cars had enough money to buy one. Wages supported buying power. Buying power justified more production, and more production supported higher wages. It helped create a new kind of American, the wage-earning consumer. Naturally, cars needed far more than factories alone. Roads grew longer and smoother. Gasoline stations sprang up along the highways. Mechanics set up shops in small towns. Insurance companies adjusted to new risks. Hotels and roadside attractions multiplied to serve the growing stream of travelers. Industrial output no longer stopped at the factory gate. It flowed outward into services and infrastructure. The economy gradually shifted away from heavy dependence on agricultural exports and towards stronger demand right here at home. The same methods that powered Ford's success also strengthened the nation in other ways. Standardized parts and well-coordinated supply chains could shift direction when needed. So when the United States entered World War I in 1917, factories moved into military production with impressive speed. Ford hadn't planned for war, yet his system gave the country a powerful advantage in mobilization. Ford's vision changed the way people thought about the future, and that shift touched the nation's economy. The gold standard gave the dollar solid credibility. Industrial scale made progress feel dependable. Consumers began to expect goods to become more affordable over time. Workers saw steady wages as a path to better lives. That growing confidence broadened what money could represent. It helped lay the groundwork for later decades when paper currency would need to stand for more than the metal that once backed it. As the economy expanded under these new influences, the demand for everyday money grew right along with it. The United States mints answered by striking large quantities of coins for circulation. Lincoln cents from 1909 onward, Buffalo nickels that arrived in 1913, and the handsome new silver designs of 1916, the Mercury dime, standing Liberty quarter, and walking Liberty half-dollar became the pocket change of the automobile age. These coins moved from hand to hand in a nation that had suddenly taken to the roads. Collectors today value them both for their beauty and their history as direct links to the workers who earned $5 a day and drove home in their Model Ts. Ford showed the world that America often succeeds by taking good things and making them available on a huge scale. He lowered costs, increased volume, and opened access for millions. That same approach later reached aviation, household appliances, and many other fields. He helped shape a culture where bold ideas and large ambitions felt completely natural. By 1920, the United States led the world in industrial output. It produced more automobiles and more steel than any other country, and consumed more manufactured goods than ever before. Ford did not accomplish this alone, yet he gave the entire transformation its clearest and most memorable symbol. He brought industry right into the driveway and connected wages, production, and daily life into one working system. Next time, as factories filled the landscape with new possibilities, Americans started asking what else their growing prosperity should serve. And an energetic president looked beyond the assembly lines that created comfort and turned his attention to open land and fresh air, believing that only conservation could give life deeper purpose. Next time on Coins, Currency, and American History, Teddy Roosevelt and the Meaning of Prosperity. We hope you've enjoyed this episode of the Coins, Currency, and American History podcast presented by Littleton Coin Company. You can find out more about coins and currency in our free Learn Center at www.littletoncoin.com/learn. It's filled with fascinating facts about U.S. coins, world coins, ancient coins, paper money, and more, as well as helpful tips for collectors of all levels. You'll even find free collector guides, checklists, and virtual albums to help you get started and keep track of your growing collection. And while you're there, be sure to check out our online store. Visit www.littletoncoin.com today.